why it's called a chop talk, if you don't know. It was created by Iris. It was given to Nilda Crumbaugh, and Lowell Crumbaugh donated it to our church. This is an issue of a Berean book I found, and it is from 1898, and it contains signatures of the conference of the people that went to the Iowa Conference through the years, and it contained their pledge or mission in the front, and I'll read that later on. But I was very surprised to see that. We have a ton of historical photos available, both of groups and individuals. The entire pile of these that are shown, those are all groups of the Iowa State Conference. So you can see how many came to that. That was pretty amazing. Our Iowa State Conference is coming up in a couple weeks. Everybody's invited. August 1st to the 5th. Paul will be there. Emily will be there. Right. One way to preserve history is through plants. And we have several plantings on the church grounds that have been around for decades upon decades. We recently added lilies and sedum in the right-hand photo to one new area, and those came from the Raymond and Margaret Madison Foster farm. And our iris patch originated with plants from Lewis Crumbaugh, who I talked about earlier, and those were planted by Chondra Rankin, and those have been on the church grounds for decades. So it's kind of neat to see those come up year after year, and you know, at least part of the history of those. I don't know if anyone remembers flannel graph, but we have a lot of flannel graph, and that would be one of the kids' resource areas. And it is kind of fun to do something low-tech once in a while, because when you're acting it out, you actually learn more, and that's kind of the point of it for the kids. So we have entire collections of books like this, Moses and Samuel. We have a lot of colored pieces, hand-colored by Iris Burnett. We received another sizable donation this past year from my Aunt Jean Rencounter, and those are shown on the right, and those are felt pieces, and we have a lot of the old paper pieces as well. There have also been donations from Margot Bean from Casper, Wyoming, and her parents are Ella and the late Max Crumbaugh of the Oaklawn Church of God. We use these as interactive teaching tools with the kids to show how Bible stories unfold through the movement of the pieces. And I think it's a really cool way to keep history alive as well. All right, we have, like I said, we have a lot of fun, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about our puppets, because that has become a historical thing for us, puppets. And those of you there's a handful of you that have spoken at our Iowa State Conference, and you will recognize some of these. You might have actually been in your puppet show. I could see Dale have been in I think he was Bugs Bunny or something. Yeah, I'm going to get to that. Our puppet show ministry began in Illinois with Nancy Foster. That's my mom. I didn't say her maiden name earlier, but it's Nancy Foster Rankin. Teaching her siblings Dan Foster of Rochelle and Sarah Foster Cronin, who goes to our church in Iowa, in their upper elementary Sunday school classes around 1968. Since then, the puppet collection has grown to over 100. And the ideas for puppet shows has also increased. In the collection are those from all over the United States, including Minnesota, Washington, San Francisco, California, South Dakota, Iowa, Illinois, Michigan, Texas, a monkey I bought her from New York City, and a goat from the Haunted Bookstore in Iowa City. I don't know if it's haunted, that's what it's called though. There are some images, these are some images that show the variety of the puppets we can use in various skits that are put on by adults and kids alike. So we get everybody involved. So we have fowls, monkeys, and monsters, bugs, pups, and wild beasts, critters and human critters, and swine and bovine. And on Sunday, I had asked my mom if she needed any additional for her collection, and her birthday's coming up. So I gave her, this will show my mom as a child at heart. She was very excited about the puppets I gave her on Sunday. She got a new skunk and a new baby skunk. Very excited. So, she doesn't know I shared these pictures either, so. I don't think she knew photos were taken, so. We also recently received Eli the Eagle from my Aunt Jean Rencounter in Michigan. She had that custom made years ago, and it's ginormous. Its head is as large as my head, as you can see in the picture. Puppet shows have been incorporated into daily lesson openings at conferences and campouts. Kenny Cronin, Sarah Foster's husband, birthed the idea of a recurring character of, okay, we're in the right spot, I just want to make sure. A recurring character of the swine variety in approximately 1988. This pig's like 30 years old. I had no idea. His name is Snellvin. He often sings original lyrics to recognizable melodies, although his smash hit, Church of God Campout, is one that can't be topped. It's based on the tune to England Swings by Roger Miller. And I have the privilege of recording Snellvin performing this song, so please take a listen. I have the lyrics on it, and this is, again, just show a learning tool that we use in bringing the history into it. We sing this for all of our gatherings, the chorus part of it. So if you could hit play on that, just a couple minutes.
Okay, I'll turn this off. Church God can't find and keep me. The word is difficulty. Three from Bible, keep our praise. That's the one with the children. They don't want to take about it, even if family don't cross better.
So we sing the chorus for campouts. He has quite an imagination and makes up hilarious songs. Okay. Snellman gets into all sorts of shenanigans with other friends, gets highly offended at the mention of bacon, and sometimes even brings out his nephew Rudy. We like puns. Rudy to hang out with us. In this image, he is wearing his helmet of salvation, aka a kitchen colander. Snellman is a regular and showed up at our June family campout and even dressed the part for our Hawaiian theme. He was excited and didn't even realize he was the main food attraction. But true to form, he showed up with a pretty silly look going on the next day. Utilizing puppets and humor is a great way to teach and speak to the smallest as well as the most seasoned Bible scholars. We've had a strong presence in the Church of God in Iowa through the years, as shown in some of these older photos. If you want to take more time to look, like I mentioned, I'll be posting this online. Those we've mentioned today have devoted much time and energy towards spreading and upholding God's word as we know as the truth. So I just wanted to mention some of the names in these. On that first slide, J.W. Williams is the middle, or the third in the back. I'll just name them all. Harry Sheets, H.S. Hunt, J.W. Williams, Frank Seipel, someone Lyon, Paul Johnson, and in the front, Austin Connor, Patrick Rosbach, and A.J. Eichner.
No.
Okay. The second photo is Oscar Jenkins, Esther Jenkins, Imogene Williams, Laverne Hunt, Ward Williams, Herman Hunt, and I referred to him earlier as H.S. Hunt, same person, Nitty Lundquist, Sarah Williams, and brother J.W. Williams. He's in a lot of our photos, and I would have included him, but I would have run out of time. These are all Allard relatives, and I think it's O.J. Allard. It was one of the men that was a pioneer also in the Church of God in Iowa. This was about 1918, 1920, somewhere along that age range. In this photo is Leon Driscoll, Paul Williams, Louis Cronbaugh, Charles Howe, Linford Moore, which was Paul's father, J. Arthur Johnson, and Herman S. Hunt. And then in the last one is O.J. Allard, and that's who I just mentioned. Frank Seipel, A.J. Eichner, H.B. Reed, Maple, I don't have a first name for that one. And then F.L. Austin and Eldred Marsh. And I think this was the handwriting on it says Waterloo Church of God Campground. So that's where we camp. I didn't mean camp. That's where we stay these years. We have a dorm. We don't camp, but it's in the same grounds, I believe.
I think it was CC maybe. I think he did it early in
Oh.
from Ohio.
So we will be ending today with a quote from each history book as shown on the slide. Each of these, I scanned each of these and they're available for download at the link on the bottom of the page. And I can send this to someone if anybody wants access to that. These are these 3 books right here. So the quote from this book is that Berean pledge I was talking about that's also handwritten originally here. And it's very pertinent today. Trusting in the Lord for strength, I hereby promise that I will try to follow Christ as my example and endeavor to take some active part in the services of this society, attend church and Sunday school, and help in all Christian work whenever and wherever I can. And in this book, it's called The History of the Churches of God in Christ Jesus in Iowa, and I wondered, because I'm the treasurer for the state, and the account had this entire name on it. I'm like, why is it so long? But as I was doing a little research, that came about when S.J. Lindsay was around. I found actually something online, and it called the church this entire name. So that was actually from way back when. I was like, oh, makes sense now.
I
So
think it started in 1888.
1888. So who am I to question? I'll go with it. So the quote in this one is, "Let us be mindful and apply the exhortation of Joshua of old when he said, 'Moses, my servant, is dead. Speak to the children of Israel that they go forward.'" And I think that's a great message for us too. Even though most of the people in this slide presentation are no longer around, the truth is still there and we have to move forward with that. In the last booklet, this was put together by Francis Burnett, my dad Delbert Rankin, and his brother Daryl Rankin. Must have been in 1987. And the quote I took out of this is, "So my brothers, be firm and don't be moved. Always be doing something for the Lord. You must realize that your hard work for the Lord will not be without meaning. 1 Corinthians 15:58 from the Simple English Bible. May we continue the work in Iowa and everywhere we go to leave the legacy and God's truth, that it may grow and flourish. And at this time, I would like to ask Dale Schwartz and Gail Ross and DJ Humphrey. I just met him today, but I recruited him. We are going to sing a quartet, and I have to say that Scott Ross stole my song earlier, but we're still going to sing it. So the four of us are going to sing this together, and I wanted to sing it because the first person in my presentation, A.J. Eichner, wrote the words 100 years ago, and you can follow along with the words on the screen. Well, we're going to just do an a cappella quartet. If you want to join in, you can. And this was very impromptu, so I had some great helpers today. I'll put them in. You can go ahead and turn the lights on. That's good.
We
Thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation.
Looking for Michael? Michael, go ahead. Would you send her up front? This concludes our presentation sessions, and Michael has a nice tour lined up for the next hour and a half or 2 hours, and so she wants to meet with you, those of you who want to go, and meet with her, I guess, out there at the front door, and she'll give you directions from that point on then. Here she comes.
Can everybody hear me from back here? Or?
Yeah.
What time is it? 3:15 or so? We had some tours of places where people in this group used to be a lot. The old General Conference Building, which started out National Bible Institute and then became Church of God General Conference, printing office, and also the old piano factory, which is Conover Square Mall. So we had, we didn't know how many we were going to have, but we were going to take the group, however big it is, and split it in half. Half of you go to the General Conference Building, and Scott Ross will be giving the tour of where the chapel used to be and where preaching class used to be, and then at Conover, the other half, Lou Vanderwees, the owner of the Conover Square Mall, is going to give a tour of mostly the second floor of the piano factory. And Mike Madison, I was talking to him, well, I don't know, a few days ago on the phone, and he was there from 66 to 68. And I think he did 10,000 pianos in that 2 years. He was a chipper or a first tuner, I think, and Otto Dick trained him. And they really got a lot of work done, and Lou Vanderwees was showing me where he would have worked on the second floor, and so he's going to give a tour of that. And then, if you want, the groups can switch, and Scott will give the tour of the GC building, and the other half can see the old piano factory. All of you can park that want to go in the parking lot of Conover Square, which would be south of the old Church of God and north of the corner of Franklin and 3rd. So the GC building is on the corner of 3rd and Franklin, and Conover Square Mall is on the north corner of 3rd and Franklin. So the parking lot is further north than Conover Square Mall. So you can park in there and just walk over to the GC if you want to go there, and walk into the side door, the north door of Conover Square Mall, and then go around to the left, and there's a big round table. And everybody meet that wants to see Conover there, and meet Lou Vanderwees there.
Michael, if they just go straight, you run right into the old church. You just turn right in the parking lot right there.
Yeah, I never
Just
thought
go
of it.
straight.
All right, because Oregon Trail turns into Monroe, yeah, and then just keep going straight. Good thought. All right. Any questions? And then we'll be back here for the barbecue at 5.
All right, thank you for coming here.
I recorded it on here, and it was also on